Welcome into the Wildcat Weekly. My name is Tor Thorne. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, the head coach of NMU football, Shane Richardson. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tor.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have you here. So just want to start, you guys are in the middle of your season, obviously. Just want to talk about, from your perspective, how's the season been going so far for you?
Yeah, it's obviously that's a general question, and there's a lot of things that go into that. Of course, a lot of people on the outside see the weekly scores and the scoreboard and the results, and that's certainly an indication of kind of some things that are going on in the program in terms of our struggles to get some wins in the win column. But yet, I think there's a lot of really positive things that are going on behind the scenes, and if you were to come into the program and see the daily interactions and the daily workings of what we're doing in meetings, how we're preparing as a staff, our interactions with the players, and then going out and practicing every day and what the plan looks like. And I tell you, there's a lot of really positive things that are happening. I think our culture has been dramatically improved in a year's time, and a lot of the players look back and say, from a year ago, in terms of how we handled last season in 2023 versus how we're handling this season, it's night and day. And you can feel the positive, just attitudes on the team, the energy that's being brought to practice, and the willingness and the intentional work that's being put in to try to improve something every single day. And so I cannot underestimate or really emphasize enough the culture of our program right now is in a great, healthy place. And I think what needs to come along with that is just we've got to get winning habits that are steered in the right direction. We've got to get the execution on the field that's steered in the right direction. And I think once it catches fire here, there's going to be a lot of results on the scoreboard that do show that everything that's going on inside the program is being resulted in.
Sure. So yeah, I'm sure you hear from people that maybe they're a little bit disappointed just how the season's been going. Mm-hmm. What do you tell them in terms of people could get impatient or something like that? Just what do you tell them for what they can expect to see, or how do you kind of demonstrate what you talk about with the culture, just how that's coming along?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, Tor, you look at the history of NMU football right now, and the last 25 years or so, we have struggled year in and year out, and we've not had a winning season. We've had only 2 winning seasons. We've only beat our arch rival 3 times, in that span of like 24 years. And so I think you have to look at it from a totality of we're trying to build something for the future. We're trying to build the longevity of the program right now, and to expect something to be done in just a year's time, 2 years' time, or even 3 years' time, right? I mean, I don't know how long that's going to take, but what I can tell you is that you've got to have patience, you've got to endure the painful moments of the process, and you've got to continue to just keep planting seeds. You've got to continue to water, fertilize, help those seeds to grow, and before you know it, it starts to sprout, and you see the fruits, and you see the blossoming happening, and that's kind of what it's like right now. There's not a whole lot on the surface that you can see that's giving you hope. And yet, as the head coach, I've never believed more strong than I have today that we're on the right track, and we are doing the right things. We have a program that's in place that's moving forward, and obviously we just need to continue to add personnel. We need to keep making tweaks. We need to continue to learn from lessons, and just have the growth that takes necessary to take place within a young program. And so I think the simple answer is we got to trust it, right? And you just got to keep believing, you got to keep trusting, you got to keep seeing the things that are kind of underneath, and knowing that those are going to take shape before too long. And if you look really closely, man, there's a lot of good things on the field that are happening. We've got 11 true freshmen that are playing right now, and they have actually banked up more reps this season than all of the seniors that we have on the field right now. And so we're an extremely young team. The seniors that we have been a great piece to what we're doing. but they haven't had a lot of reps themselves on the field to contribute to, and so we're a young, inexperienced team that is just going to get better and better over time.
So I wanted to talk about the defense a little bit. Last week against Tech, obviously the game didn't go how you guys wanted, but you had, I believe, 3 takeaways on the day.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your defense, what you've seen them kind of grow and be able to flash in moments like that?
For sure. So, defense is such a tough concept, because if you let your guard down, you give up a couple plays, it equals 7 points every time, right? And so, when you look at a score like 39-9, everybody might think, oh man, you guys are getting killed, or whatever. You're taking a tail whipping, and it might not necessarily be the case. There's probably 3 to 5 plays in there that really affect that game and the result. And obviously defense shoulders the brunt of that, right? So going back though, had some executional mistakes that obviously put points on the board for them, but also I would say we had such an edge to us that we played with on Saturday. If you go back and look at the game a year ago, I think we cowered. I think we were way too overly amped up to play against our rival. We didn't know how to approach the game in a healthy way. I think once the wheels started to come off, they really came off, and it resulted in 62-0, right? And Michigan Tech played extremely well against us, and we really took a tail whipping there, right? We fast forward to that last Saturday. I thought our defense answered the call on being able to attack that game with courage, with just an edge, a tenacity, and intensity that we went out there and we were playing great defense really throughout the whole game. And, obviously there were some plays that we'd like to have back, from the executional side, and that's something that we just got to mature through.
So looking forward to this coming weekend. I believe it's your final home game. Got Ferris coming in.
Yep.
Just obviously they're a established team doing well this season.
Yeah.
What do you expect out of that game? What's kind of the scouting report going in there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ferris is maybe arguably the best team that we've seen on film, right? And they're so fast and athletic and big, and they just beat the #1 ranked team, Grand Valley, in the country, right? And handled them pretty well. And I think that's a great factor that we can use with our team to say, wow, here's another opportunity to show up, to bring some courage to the party and make sure that we're doing everything we can to approach this game the right way. I think it only sets us up for how we're going to approach all opponents and the GLIAC in the future.
And then with being the final home game, you've got Senior Day as well. I was wondering if you could talk about what maybe you have planned for the seniors for that day, and you talked a little bit about them, what they brought to your locker room. Just talk about what, since you've gotten here, getting to rely on some of those older players, just what have they brought to the team?
Yeah, it's they've been great. There's some really neat guys in that group, and maybe they don't have as many reps on the field as maybe some of the other classes, but boy, have they been great teammates, and they've been really fun to get to know. And I think of a guy like Justin Peak. He's a captain for us, and he's a linebacker. He'll start at times, but sometimes he's just a great backup and role player for us. But what a great example of somebody who has trusted the program, who is here before we got here, and then kind of grew through it with us a little bit on the tail end of his career. And I can't say enough about just how much of a quiet leader he is and the example that he sets, but yet I think when he speaks, a lot of people listen. And it's been really fun to be able to just see him mature and grow into just an older guy and a captain for us. Other guys such as Xavier Hoyt, a walk-on that came on and earned a role on special teams and runs down there every week and is physical and tries to give everything he can to our hit squad unit, which is our kickoff cover team. And just guys that bring energy. Isaac Kodir, who is a transfer from Finlandia, they closed their program down. We took him in, and is the most energetic and enthusiastic guy that we have on our team. And that stuff is it can't be discounted. You know, I mean, that stuff is very valuable to what we're doing, and just a great teammate and one of our emotional leaders. You know, and there's a lot of other guys obviously that kind of contribute to that. But you know, this Saturday, obviously, you don't want to get so emotionally wrapped up in senior day that you can't focus on going out and performing your job and you know, staying focused on the game. But certainly we'll honor them beforehand with them and their parents being recognized, and then we'll have a nice little you know, celebration after the game for them and recognize them. And you know, I think it's really neat. We're able to bring their families in and whoever they want to invite into a meeting afterwards, where we'll have some refreshments and food and that type of thing. But then we'll talk about them, and the coaches will kind of talk about what they've meant to the program. And you know, we do have senior gifts for them. We typically try to frame their jersey for them and give them a picture of the team, a picture of themselves on the field, and you know, just commemorate them with something that's memorable from NMU football. And you know, just treat them right and make sure that when they leave here, they really feel great about the program and being able to take their experience into the real world and apply it some way, somehow.
Great. All right, well, best of luck the rest of the way this season, Coach, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tor.